we're bringing you guys some island music today. It's called Mr. Flavor. Mr. Flavor. Drums and bass. Stop spinning around your color blues. It's contagious and I'm sinking into it. Just take a chance and follow me. A little faith and you will see that. Don't let no one steal your dancing shoes, because those shoes will take away your blues. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, Sister Flavor, let me see you. Just tell me one thing, if it's true, can you feel the groove? Yeah. Mr. Flavor. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And all you got to do is flaunt it. But wake up your mind and don't let me go. Baby, don't let me go. Put it up in your face. Song. This one's called Keep You Warm. Yeah, you guys driving to school yet? You guys driving yourselves? Alright, this one's about cruising around. I slided from the left right into your life, and I bet you didn't expect me. Start to talk and you can work, make you want to explore this feeling. picture on my wall. If you're tired, baby, get some rest. You've been working through the night. If you can't relax, let's lay in the sand and listen to the tide. I said I just wanna keep you warm, but let me be the sweater covering your arms. Oh, yeah, I'll never let you feel the cold. Mr. Ford, give me some bass, give me some bass. Well, I drive out my way just to let you fall asleep next to me. We spent so much time on the night first week in each other's dreams. And we can make this last if you wanted to. Just gotta keep on pushing and believe in who we said we'd be. Because my life is better with you in my heart. So let the words or thoughts make it seem too hard. Just call on me. I said I just wanna keep you warm. Let me be the sweater covering your arms. Yeah, I'll never let you feel the cold. I got you back, girl, I want you to know. Said I just wanna keep you warm. Let me be the sweater covering your arms. Yeah, I'll never let you feel the cold. Do you guys like this music? Come say what's up to me afterwards, yeah? But make sure you guys get to class on time. Thank you guys, thank you. Hey, there we are. You guys like hearing live music at lunch or what? Alright, well we like playing for you guys. I actually played here like 2 years ago, but this is the first time being back since then. This next track we're gonna do for you guys is another original tune. This one's called Stellar. And I wrote this one to remind us all, when you're feeling down, when you're feeling low, we all come from the stars. That makes all of us stellar. So every time you guys are feeling down, feeling sad, feeling depressed about something, look yourself right in the mirror and talk yourself up. Give yourself a little pep talk and say, I'm stellar, because you are. Time after time, I catch glimpses of greatness inside you, like the wind in the sky, keeping you in flight. And it's so comforting to know that all of your experience is helping you to grow. So if you're not satisfied, just look yourself in the eyes and say, you've got to believe that you are stellar. Because it's just you and me forever. When you look into the mirror, yeah, I can't say it any clearer. You've got to believe. Yo, what's up, Braves football? Now it would be just as right to compare you to those gods out there, as it would be to say that your life could begin right here. But wait till you realize the whole universe exists inside. Well, maybe it's true, maybe it's you. Let these feelings consume. You've got to believe that you are stellar. Thank you guys.
Hey, how you all doing tonight? Hey, let's go. Hey, we got Claremont tonight, 7 o'clock. JV at 4:30. Come out and support. We're looking for our first win of the season. Come on, we got this. Let's get it.
These waves got me through, and I hope one day the current will bring me to you, and I'd wash up, I'm sure, right beneath your feet, and you lie down in the sand right next to me. I got a couple more tunes for you today. Hope you guys are all enjoying your Aloha Friday. Where I come from in Maui, every Friday is Aloha Friday. So you dress up a little bit nicer, you show a little extra aloha to all your friends. This one's called These Waves. Wait now, hold your breath. Don't make another move, don't take another step, because I've got you right where I need you to be. Stop, turn, breathe in that air. We're on the shoreline, baby, so let down your head and see what lies underneath. And if I get lost, why don't you ever find me? Cause I'll be fine right here by the beach. And when I get done, I find my way back home and I won't be the only one. Well, I let these waves guide me through, and I hope one day the current will bring me to you, and I'd wash up on shore right beneath your feet, and you lie down in the sand right next to me. To my right, Mr. Michael Chambers on guitar and keyboards, and right behind me, Mr. Martinez and Mr. Ford on drums and bass. But did you ever think that you and me could fly? Did you ever think that we could start again and do it right? So right, yeah, because you're such a diva, baby, and you're such a drama queen, yeah. But I could have kept you if you knew what I mean, yeah. Well, I let these waves guide me through, and I hope one day the current will bring me to you, and I'd wash up on shore right beneath your feet, and you lie down in the sand right next to me. Waves got me through, and I hope one day the current will bring me to you, and I'd wash up on shore right beneath your feet, and you lie down in the sand right next to me, and you lie down in the sand right next to me, yeah. Right next to me. Will you lie down in the sand right next to me? Will you lie down in the sand right next to me? Thank you guys. Yeah, we got one more tune for you guys. This one's called Don't Know Much. If you guys like this music, I got some business cards over there. Feel free to go scan that QR code. You can download my music, buy some merch, whatever you guys want to do. This next track's going to be coming out October 1st. Don't know. know much, like I said. And the chorus is real simple. It says, I don't know much, but I know your love. I don't know much, but I know your love. I don't know much, but I know your love. I don't know much, don't know much, don't know much, hey. I don't know much, but I know your love. I don't know money, I don't know fame, but in the end when you look back, will you see all the same faces and places repeating every day, like the one that came before? No wonder you're so bored, 'cause today is the right time to go in and make a change. You could be your own role model, just get out of your brain, 'cause the time it takes to speak out all of your complaints, you could be manifesting love right here with me. I don't know much, but I know your love. I don't know much, but I know your love. I don't know much, don't know much, don't know much, hey. I don't know much, but I know your love. Well, the nicest thing I've seen is when I catch you with your daydreaming face on. It's like an off-screen shot, oh, from a movie that was made just for me. Yeah. Baby, I don't know much, but I love how I feel when you're with me. This must be for real. And even when it gets tough and we voice hurtful thoughts that we don't mean, I know time will heal. I don't know much, but I know your love. Thank you guys so much for listening to us today. I don't know much, but I know your love. I don't know much, don't know much, don't know much, hey. I don't know much, but I know your love. Drums and bass. Once again, Mr. Ford on bass guitar, Mr. Martinez on drums, Mr. Michael Chambers on guitar and keys. My name is Dylan Keawe. Thank you guys so much for having us out here. Big ups to the ECV MultiMedia department putting this whole thing on. Big ups to my man Hovick over there. Said I don't know much, but I know your love. Thank you guys once again. All I know is that I don't know much. All I know is that I know your love. Well, all I know is that I don't know much. All I know is that I know your love. Well, all I know is that I don't know much. All I know is that I know your love. All I know is that I don't know much. Once again, my name is Dylan Keawe. Be sure you guys are heading back to class. Before you do, come up, grab a couple stickers, grab a couple business cards, all that good stuff. Thank you guys so much.
Dylan. We're glad to have you here back at Cajon Valley High School. After a long break, especially with the pandemic, this is the first time we've been able to have an event, live like this since February of 2020 was our last one. So I know over that break we had you here live, for virtual concerts. Mm-hmm. We had two of those, no, one.
I think it was just the one.
Yeah, just the one. But we've had over the whole time, I think 2 or 3 different performers. But yeah, we've had you here twice in total. That's what I meant to say.
Yeah.
This would be your 3rd time here, and we're glad to have you starting us back up with the live concerts. Hopefully it lasts this time.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I hope it lasts, man. We've all been waiting so long to get back to playing music.
Because I know that a lot of venues are starting up with their concerts too, and that's just been the big thing we've been on lockdown. Speaking of which, how have you managed the time in lockdown? Because I know a lot of artists have been struggling.
Yeah, at first I would say it was interesting because I had planned to release my first album right as the lockdown happened. I released my first album, and I had a tour planned and all this different plans, and I had to cancel all of them. And then by the time it came around to starting back up, half of those places that I had booked are no longer even in business. The venue's fully closed. And so that's a big change. But I don't know, I think that the pandemic really kind of leveled the playing field in a lot of ways, because big artists even people like Justin Bieber and Drake, those kind of big artists, they were stuck at home just like artists like me, So we all kind of had to figure it out in our own ways how we were going to keep going.
Yeah, so everyone at this point is looking for live shows, whether it's big artists or small artists. So I think you're kind of right in saying that it leveled the playing field. Were you able to make any new music or go into new sounds over the break?
Yeah, I actually recorded a lot of music since in this whole pandemic. I've been recording, getting ready to release another album. This is going to be my first full-length album, and that should be by the end of this year I should have that out. I'm hoping sometime this fall. But I actually got my next single release called Don't Know Much, and that comes out October 1st.
Yeah, I saw, was it Never Ever?
Never Ever was my most recent one.
Yeah, I saw that. And so what would if you're able to tell us, what would the name of that new album be?
The new album is going to be called All for Love. And that's kind of the theme of the album. It's all the songs are about love in a different way. Not necessarily just, the love you share with your significant other, but, I like to write a lot about loving yourself and loving everything around you, because I think it's important that we try to connect with ourselves.
Yeah, that's especially important now with, lots of loved ones not being able to see each other and us sort of getting back on track. So I think that's the significance of that's growing a lot. Speaking of which, so you're releasing a new album, new songs. Where do you hope that takes you? What's your next step?
Well, eventually I would like to get the band on the road and do a little tour, but I really am going to put a lot of time into getting my online presence up, so I need to get a lot of content. I'd like to do a few music videos and just travel to do a few video shoots would be my main next step, and then hopefully that can lead to some better opportunities.
Yeah, that'd be great, especially you'd be able to get your name out there.
Exactly.
People would be able to see you, and you just get more known. But for those new to you and who you are, where would you say that you really began in music? What's your history behind it?
Well, I grew up, I'm from Maui originally, and I had some family that was musicians, and I just would always kind of grow up watching them play and just kind of wish I could do that, but I was a little bit farther away. And then so I just kind of taught myself over time. But yeah, I would say it was the fact that I had musicians in my family that inspired me to pursue music. And then once I got into it, I was hooked, man. There was no turning back from there.
So you would say your family was your musical inspiration, or was there someone else or something else in specific?
Yeah, when I originally started playing music, I picked up acoustic guitar, and I wanted to learn how to write songs and sing. And I think that's just because I had a lot going on in my own head, and it was a lot that I wanted to get out in some way, I just had so much to say. And I think that learning acoustic guitar was a way that allowed me to kind of get that out without just,
So music is sort of your tool of telling the world who you are, in your view?
Basically.
How would you describe your personal sound?
You know, it's always hard to describe yourself, but like I always like to say like I play like island reggae, but I mix it with like different genres like soul and R&B and pop, and you know, I try to blend like the old school genres with the newer stuff to just give myself.
So a combination of sounds is...
Yeah, I think that I've always been big into bands that like change their sound over time. You know, they don't just stick to one thing their whole career. I think that it's important to evolve.
With that, also, if let's say you grew up with a band, the band's kind of also growing up with you if they're able to evolve their music. So I guess you can say that's what you're going at too?
Yeah, exactly. Like, you know, the bands that we all grow up listening to, whoever it might be, like when you first start listening to them, they have something that draws you in, and as they go on, you know, they mature and they start talking about different stuff, start exposing you to different things, and I think that's a really great thing about music. Is
at the same time, you're also going on.
Yeah, like you feel like you grow along with these artists, and you can connect with the things that they're being vulnerable about, in a sense, you know?
Well, with that, I know, because you said that music's how you get your word out. What's your favorite part about music? Because there's the recording, there's writing, there's producing, there's playing live music, there's all these different things.
Yeah.
Where would you say you fall best in? Like,
you know, I've always liked producing, because I think that I do a lot of my writing while I'm producing. So I have a home studio, and I'll just be making stuff at home, and it'll start with like a chord progression or just a simple line that I keep repeating. And I just think it's like magic how, like, you know, you just keep on repeating the same phrase, and over time it just expands and expands and becomes this thing that you never expected at the beginning of it.
yeah,
you know?
so you're sort of putting your ideas in and watching them grow.
Yeah, and what's great about with all the technology now, like, you know, we have like GarageBand on our iPhones, like we have all these tools where if you have any kind of inspiration, you can lay it out and just kind of develop it in real time as you're thinking about it.
Yeah, and you're able to all do that with like the tools we have. Like I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure one of Gorillaz, the band's albums, were completely made on an iPad.
On an iPad, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's true. And there's this other artist I listened to named Steve Lacy from a band called The Internet, and he made his first album fully on his iPhone.
Yeah, and so you're able to take these small things, and you know, not everyone makes it to where they want to be. It's a really slow start for some people, and other bands, they just get huge instantly. How have you like been able to handle persevering through music to get to the step where you want to be?
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, man, because like you said, it's different for everybody, and I'm definitely a grinder, you know. Nothing happens instantly ever in my experience, you know. I think that you have to work for everything that you get, and where I am now is only a result of the work that I've put in. It's just a reflection of that. So if I'm not where I want to be yet, I need to just continue to work harder to get there. And I'm sure that I can get there, you know. It's just a matter of how much work am I willing to put in, you know.
Yeah, because then there's those other artists that they just make one song and they're already on top.
Yeah.
It just doesn't come that way for everybody.
Exactly.
But speaking of that whole, like, you choosing to keep on persevering and working towards your goal, has there ever been a time where you're like, you don't want to anymore? Like, you've been burnt out?
Oh yeah, man. I think that everyone reaches that point at some point in their, if you're any kind of artist or creative person, at some point the grind of it all is gonna feel overwhelming. But I also think that part of that grind, and when it does feel overwhelming, a lot of the most beautiful and brilliant creative pieces have been made in that state of mind. Like, I grew up listening to like a lot of grunge music and more like hard rock and stuff like that, and these people were writing about being in the worst state of addiction, you know, and in their actual life, you know, things might be like very overwhelming and stuff, but I think from that, if you're able to like just view it and view it as an observer and not someone going through it, then it's you can create some like the most real, emotional, creative things, you know, whether you're a musician or an artist or an actor, whatever it is.
Yeah, I think oftentimes just putting yourself on a piece of paper, you know, writing and getting your thoughts out, a lot of people connect to that more than you'd think. Like a lot of people are going through that same thing, even if it feels like you're alone in that, or if an artist feels like they're alone in that. And so then putting that down, they can then, everyone else who listens to it, you know, they might agree, and that's how sort of connections form, I guess, with artist to artists and their audiences.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy because like now I think like a common topic is mental health, you know, like I think it's becoming so much more talked about, and I love it because I kind of grew up with my own issues with mental health, and I'm sure people in this room have their own struggles on the daily where you have to like tell yourself to remain positive, you know, and I think the fact that more and more artists are being vulnerable about that, like younger artists too, like they're being vulnerable about issues like that, I think that it really opens the door to have that conversation, because it's been so long, like generations, our parents' generations even, like they wouldn't even talk about their mental health. It was always just bottle it up and you know, you just don't talk about it. You just keep working. But I think now that we're in this place of like we can feel comfortable talking about it, there's room to grow a lot, and we can all become a lot more mature just from understanding our own issues that we got to deal with.
And music is how you can help the world understand that. Not just music, but art in general has been a big way to do that.
Yeah, I believe that.
I guess with what you said with working to keep going and how you believe that every step you make has gotten you further and further, when you were here 2 years ago, were you at a point to looking back right now where you thought you'd be exactly where you were, as in your progression with your career?
You know, I think 2 years ago, like, it's interesting, like, just to see, like, how much this program has grown in the past 2 years since I've been here. Like, all the, you know, the equipment, it seems like people are more comfortable with it. You guys have, like, a better knowledge and understanding of the stuff. And for me, I think that's kind of what I just aimed for, was, like, just to have a better understanding, a better, like, knowledge of where I'm at, you know? So maybe 2 years ago, I kind of thought I was further along than what I really was. And as time goes on, you can kind of just come to terms with, like, okay, you know what, I still got a long way to go before I actually get to where I want to be.
So I guess the biggest sense of progression you've felt is you're more comfortable?
Yeah, exactly. It's not about feeling like you're not there yet, and that's not okay. It's about trusting the process, that, like, if I just continue doing what I'm doing, I will get to where I'm trying to go.
Yeah, I agree. And with you being here 2 years ago and since then growing the way that you've grown, and being able to also, as you said, how we as like a school and like putting this production on, like we've also grown. What are your thoughts on that? Like you've been here,
on the program, or?
Yeah, you've been performed 3 different times.
I have.
This will be your second time live. Do you have any feedback for us? Anything
You know,
at
I
all?
think it's great, man. These are like, I basically have just seen, like, even like with you, you're someone that I've talked to multiple times, and like the amount of like trust that is being put into you guys is a lot, because this is like expensive equipment you guys are dealing with. These are big tasks that you guys are given, and a lot of, in this industry, I think that like a lot of people are scared to learn that, because it seems like there's like gatekeepers in a way, you know, like there's veterans who have just been there doing it the longest and only they want to do it. But you guys are proving that that's not the case. As long as you guys continue working and studying the equipment and researching like the new things that are coming out, like, man, you guys are going to be more advanced than even the people teaching you, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, this is one of those things that, like, with technology and music and like this whole program, you guys have so much opportunity to learn just outside of what they're teaching you, because there's so much else like on YouTube and like just online in general that you guys can probably bring stuff to your teachers that they didn't even know yet. You know?
Well, a big thing with especially Live at Lunch is, for the most part, with some exception for you, because you're friends with Mr. Ford.
Yeah.
Any other band that comes here, for the most part, I find their email. I email them, the whole crew. We talk about it. We build everything, and it's just me and the crew, the students. And I just run it by Ford, and I'm like, is this okay?
Yeah.
He'll agree, or maybe he'll have some input, but that's about it.
Totally.
So I guess, yeah, there is major trust with this program, but I guess it was best to hear from you, any feedback, because I think you're one of the bands or acts we've had here the most. So
that's, you know, honestly, man, I think it's, like, this is my honest opinion, like, any one of you guys could go into the music industry and work these positions that you're currently working, because all it takes is just showing up and having that professional attitude, you know. I first started playing music live when I was like 16, 17, and I would be playing with these guys that were like Mr. Ford's age, you know, like just people that have been doing it for longer than I've been alive, you know. And at first, they will always try to kind of, not them in particular, but certain people will try to act like they don't have that trust in you. But I think going through this kind of program, it shows that, like, they can put that trust in you, you know. There's no need to be hesitant, because everyone...
That trust is the only way you can learn.
Exactly, yeah. And you got to give them a chance, you know. I think that's the main thing. It's just the only way people learn is by doing it. You know?
And that's what this program's about. Well, closing up here, if you had any piece of advice, really, whether having to do with school or just life in general, what's one thing you'd like to say to not only the students, but just the people of our community?
You know, I think the main, like, message that I try to give out with my own music and to myself and to other people that kind of share similar things is just not be too hard on yourself. You know, trust the process. We're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna grow from those mistakes, and you're still gonna say the wrong things sometimes. You're still gonna do the wrong things sometimes, but it's about trusting the process and trusting yourself and allowing yourself to grow. Because I think when we become, like, set in our ways and we don't talk to people about our problems and stuff like that, these small issues can just run in circles in our heads until they become big things. And I know that's the case for me, at least. And yeah, so I just think, like, learning to just accept when we make mistakes and not be super hard on ourselves, that's the best thing that I've been able to learn to allow myself to grow.
And hopefully everyone can take that advice and, you know, put your own spin on it, because not everything works for everyone, but
yeah,
as long as you just keep going, then I guess that's the most important part. Where on social media can everyone find you?
So on social media, it's just Dylan Keawe, DYLANKEAWE, and then I also have, like, my Spotify, my YouTube. I have my own website, dylankeawe.com, where you can download all my music. You can buy merch from there, and yeah, it's pretty much the same across all platforms.
All right. Well, then I guess that concludes this interview. We're so happy to have you here, and hopefully maybe a year down the road you're here again. Not with me, maybe, because I am a senior, but hopefully this continues to grow, and, you know, you keep
maybe
going
you'll
with
keep
it too.
working in the industry, and I'll see you down the road, man.
All right.
That'd
Thank
be
you.
awesome. Thanks for having me.
You too.
Cool.
You've got to believe that you are stellar. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Because it's just you and me.